Hello everyone, welcome to our YouTube channel, and welcome to our backyard. This will actually be my second video today, and it's the other one was a live video over on Facebook, and so it's not every day I do two videos. It's not every day I do one, but I know that there are some people who aren't on Facebook, and YouTube allows videos to be public to anyone, whether they're on Facebook or not. And for those of you, especially those of you in Fort McLeod, I wanted to do this video, and I'm sure others will hopefully enjoy it too, and just show you around our backyard and our garden. And so right now I'm sitting listening to the birds, watching the vehicles go by, watching the grass grow. Well, I might be if we could get some rain. It's been forever, and things are definitely dry. So why don't we take a little walk around the backyard and through the garden and see what we can see. Here we go. Alright. Recently, this is kind of makeshift. We have a pulley system that we're going to set up from the deck to the tree, which right now the wire we have there just ties into the tree at the tire, beyond the tire, but on the tree. And there is actually, well, halfway up there, there's actually a hook. So we're going to set up our pulley clothesline in the near future. But I can say it's really nice to be able to do a load of laundry and hang them out on the line. It makes it nothing quite like line dried clothing. So let's start over here. This little cast iron tub, if you want to come by and help us move it, lift it will be the problem. We want to get rid of that. And here's a little welcome sign. And this is a male holly. And this is a female holly. And look how beautiful she is with all the berries. And when people see at the roadside our Watkins sign and come in, they'll be greeted with a little welcome sign. I've actually been thinking of putting a sign there that says welcome to the land of fairies. Here's the pulley, but that's actually going up on top. In a couple of months, one of the neat things is going to be, this is a beautiful butterfly or moth. Somebody maybe can tell me what kind of a butterfly or moth that is, but this sunflower is actually a white sunflower. So as people come in, maybe looking for Watkins products or just to visit or get vegetables or what have you, they're going to be greeted by white sunflower, and the next thing they're going to see is purple tomatoes. And we have one little tiny tomato on there. Right now, we have hollyhocks that are soon going to be in blossom, and we have our daisies, and next to that, we have our mint, fleabane, and there's a shot of our Watkins sign. For those of you who are bothered with hornets and wasps, get a paper bag, hang it outside of your door, and that actually will help keep the hornets and wasps away from your door. Help keep some other bugs out of the area as well. Over here we have daylilies. Isn't that a beautiful flower? And our bird feeder. And in here we have our Scotia tomatoes. We weren't all together thinking when we put these in. I'll tell on ourselves here. That's the dryer vent. And when we turned on the dryer, it was a little too hot on the tomato. So we put a makeshift flap up there to take care of that. And we actually, the tomatoes, Scotia tomatoes, are not only in blossom, they have set some little tomatoes as well. In behind we have nasturtiums, and they're coming quite well. And the other thing that we have coming now along the front is basil. And I think I may even look at sending them out and transplanting some of them somewhere. Here in the hanging baskets we have mixed herbs, some parsley and other things, some strawberries, and over around the side here we have gooseberry, and a week ago this black lost the word for it. That's what happens when you do a live video. Black locust tree was in blossom. You can see a few little white blossoms there now. Those are edible, not the leaves, but the little white blossoms. They're nice and sweet, so that gives us a little treat. The brook is getting very low, and along here we once again have more gooseberries, raspberries coming, as well as blackberries. And this definitely needs to be cut out, but we wanted to wait until we could see what all we had. And actually we cut out a bunch of rambling rose from there last weekend, and we will be getting in that in the next week or two and taking out as many of the weeds and unwanted plants as possible. There's one of our two owls. Of course, he wants to know who you are. These are Kennebec potatoes, and if I lower this down to waist level, you will actually see how big those potatoes really are. They actually come up above the belt. I certainly hope that we have as many and as good of potatoes under those leaves, under those plants, when it comes time, as the tops themselves are now. And sounds like a nice motorcycle, but can't quite see it from here. The potatoes are coming into blossom, or at least have set some buds. So in the next week, hopefully, we'll see some potato blossoms on those. And maybe a week or so later, we'll be able to harvest our first new potatoes. The next row is looking a little bit scraggly at this point. We had beets, radish, and lettuce, and even a sunflower at the end. And we took out the radish because that's gone past its peak, and now we need to get in there and thin the lettuce and beets, and maybe even have some beet greens, sunflower down at the end as well. Also mixed in with the Kennebec potatoes are beans, and I'm having a hard time seeing my screen right now in the sun, but I believe you can see the bean plant or plants that are mixed in there with our potatoes. And one of the reasons for that is beans take nitrogen out of the air and put it into the soil, and of course potatoes are heavy feeders on nitrogen, so it'll help the good companion plants. And likewise with the peas and carrots that you'll see lining the pea rows. The carrots, by the way, are going to a nice size for small salad carrots, and the peas are actually, some of them are 4 feet high and still stretching for the sky, and they've started to set their pods as well, which is promising. And need to get in and thin the carrots, and looking forward to having some fresh peas. In the center we have Blackstone Progress, and on the two sides we have Early Frosties. And as you can see, they're nicely in blossom and at a good height. Carrots are coming along the sides nicely. And on this end of the garden we have russet potatoes. We had a little trouble with our russets in that we had some flea beetle, not a lot, but a little flea beetle infestation. I'll interrupt myself here just to have a look at the buds for the flowers that are coming on our russets. But the flea beetles, what they do is this, and I'll see if I can get this on the screen right. You can see how that is discolored and somewhat lumpy in texture. And the flea beetles are like they're a little beetle, not like the ones we get on our pets, but the ones that attack plants. And here are some more buds on the russet potatoes. So what we did about the flea beetle infestation, you can see here on this leaf what they have done. What we did is we took some Melaleuca tub and tile and diluted it and sprayed it on. It's Melaleuca ultrafinolia, so it, you know, what doesn't get absorbed gets washed away anyway. But it got rid of the flea beetle, and you know, may have saved our garden. And what we've done the last couple of days is we've gotten ourselves set up with a nice platform and a set of steps for our 1,000-liter water tank, and that will give us about a week's supply to water our gardens. And we have on here so that we can use the hose, and that is actually an old hose from an old washer, and that actually we use to fill our watering cans. We were hoping that it may be gravity fed. It's not quite high enough to, it will gravity feed, but it's slow. So to speed that process up, we take water from here and put it in our watering cans to water the garden. This rose bush, which I'm not exactly sure what it is, but I'm calling it an old English tea rose because that's what it looks like to me, is very beautiful. But it, in this bush or little tree, was all covered with the rambling rose. And so with the rambling rose, once that come into blossom, we took out the rambling rose and we've been left with a nice little bush, which hopefully next year we'll find out what it is, and maybe somebody can help us identify what type of rose this is also. The rambling rose, it's our compost pile, and which is actually composting very nicely. I've tried them before, never had a whole lot of success. This year it seems like it's going to work quite well. The rambling rose is a very old rambling rose, and it has climbed these spruce trees. In fact, it's even climbed up into the maple. About halfway up there are actually vines, and I sometimes lose signal back here, so let's hope that this actually keeps going. Over here we have evening primrose. irises, lily of the valley, sorrel, which is very forgiving. This sorrel is where all these plants that I just mentioned, including the violets, this sorrel was prostate on the ground today. We don't water this section as much. We just conserve the water, especially right now for the garden. But this sorrel was laying flat this morning, and now I watered it this morning, and it's come back up. So very forgiving, and also has a very nice taste. Our friend, the veggie squirrel, who you can find on Facebook, or in Bear River, Nova Scotia, veggie squirrel, at the end of her greenhouse season, gave us some tomatillos.